Okay, be honest. Ever walk past a yoga studio and thought, is that really exercise? Or is it just, like, fancy stretching?
Right.
We're going deep today on the science of yoga.
Yeah.
Figuring out what's real and what's hype.
Interesting you say that because, like, yoga has this rep for being, like, simple, but also, like, mystical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, there's a lot more to it. It impacts your body and mind, you know?
Totally. We've got this article. Does yoga actually work? Or is it just stretchy mysticism?
Right.
Like, that's the question.
Yeah.
What happens to us when we do yoga? Does it really help with, like, stress, mental clarity, even healing?
Right. So many people think it's just about flexibility, but it's actually pretty good for strength, too.
Wait, strength training? From yoga? I thought it was about touching your toes.
Well, yeah, you can touch your toes. That's a perk. But it's more than that. It builds strength, especially in your joints.
Oh, okay.
Research shows that if you do yoga regularly, you can increase your range of motion by like 35%.
35%. Okay, now we're talking. But what does that even mean for, everyday life?
It means you're less likely to be stiff and achy, especially as you get older. Think of it as like preventative care for your body. The American College of Physicians recommends yoga as the first thing to try for lower back pain.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's not just about bending over backwards. It helps you avoid pain and move freely? That's pretty cool. But what's with the breathing thing? Deep breathing is supposed to be relaxing, but how does that, connect to the physical stuff?
It's all about your nervous system.
Yeah.
Specific yoga breathing techniques like ujjayi breathing
Okay.
activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is like the rest and digest system.
Wait, there's a rest and digest system in our bodies? That why I get sleepy after I eat? I thought that was just like the food coma.
Yeah.
So it's not just breathing. It's like shifting my body into a different, mode.
Yeah, most of us are stuck in fight or flight mode all the time because of stress. Yoga helps you counteract that by triggering your body's natural relaxation response.
Okay, I'm seeing how it all connects now.
Yeah.
So the breathing isn't just some extra thing. It's actually a key part of how it works. Are there studies to back this up, or is this just ancient wisdom?
There is actual science behind it. Brain scans show that after even just 8 weeks of yoga, there's less activity in the amygdala, the part of your brain that deals with fear and anxiety.
No way. So yoga's changing my brain. That's wild.
Yeah, and there's more activity in the prefrontal cortex, which manages your emotions and logical thinking.
Hold on. So yoga's making me calmer, but it's also rewiring my brain to deal with stress better.
Pretty much.
I am intrigued. Okay, let's talk about the big question. Can yoga heal us? There are some pretty big claims out there.
Well, you got to be realistic, right? It's not a magic cure.
Right.
But reducing stress has a huge impact on your overall health. That's where yoga really makes a difference.
Right, because stress is, connected to everything. A million different health problems, right?
Exactly. Chronic stress can lead to, heart disease, weak immune system, stomach issues, you don't sleep well, even faster aging. I could go on.
Wow.
Yeah. By reducing stress, yoga helps your body be more balanced, so everything just works better.
So it's not that yoga is directly fixing everything. It's more like it's addressing, a root cause.
Exactly. There was this study with breast cancer survivors. Yoga helped them reduce fatigue by 57% and feel better overall. This wasn't because yoga cured their cancer, but because it helped their bodies cope with the stress of treatment.
57%? That's huge. It really shows you how connected our mental and physical health are.
Totally. Speaking of the mind-body connection, let's talk about how yoga affects, how your brain is structured,
Okay, this is the part that blows my mind. How can yoga change the actual structure of my brain?
So research shows that if you do yoga regularly, it can actually make parts of your brain thicker, like the cerebral cortex, which handles, complex thinking, and the hippocampus, which is essential for memory.
Wait, what?
And, these are areas that usually shrink with age.
Wow. So yoga is like a workout for my brain, too. Sign me up. Who doesn't want a sharper brain as they get older?
Right. It's a cool idea, right? That we can actually, fight age-related brain stuff with yoga.
Absolutely. And it's not just about making those brain regions bigger, right? There's the whole mindfulness thing, too.
Yeah. Mindfulness is, being present in the moment. And it's a huge part of yoga. When you're holding a pose, breathing, trying not to fall over, you're training your mind to focus.
It's true. When I'm in a tough yoga pose, the last thing I'm thinking about is, my to-do list. I'm totally in the zone, just focused on my body.
Exactly. And that focus has been shown to strengthen the connections between different parts of your brain, especially the parts that have to do with, self-awareness and controlling your emotions.
So like building better communication pathways in my brain. I can get behind that.
Right. This all leads to like feeling calmer, more in control, and able to handle tough situations without feeling overwhelmed.
It's all making sense now, that feeling of peace after yoga. It's not just like a temporary thing. It's actual changes in my brain.
Right, and those changes affect, how you feel overall. People who do yoga regularly say they're less anxious, they feel more in control of their emotions, and they're better at dealing with stress.
But what about serious mental health issues like depression? Can yoga actually make a difference there?
That's what researchers are looking into more and more. And what they're finding is pretty promising. Yoga is becoming recognized as a really valuable addition to mental health treatment. Like, it can work with traditional treatments to help people recover and feel better.
So not necessarily a replacement for things like therapy or medication, but it can be a powerful addition.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there was this analysis of 19 different studies in 2020, and they found that yoga can really help reduce depression symptoms. And a lot of times the results were like as good as cognitive behavioral therapy, which is like a really common and effective treatment.
Wow, that's amazing. What makes yoga so effective for mental health stuff?
One idea is that yoga helps to bridge the gap between mind and body, which is often a problem with depression. People with depression sometimes say they feel detached from their bodies, numb, or out of touch with their physical feelings. Yoga encourages them to reconnect with their bodies in a safe and non-judgmental way.
Like yoga reminds them that they're present in their bodies, not just their thoughts.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And for people with PTSD, yoga can be really powerful. Trauma can put your nervous system in a state of constant alert.
Like their body is stuck in fight or flight all the time.
Exactly. The breathing and slow movements in yoga help regulate the nervous system. It calms that hypervigilance and creates more of a sense of safety and control.
Yeah. Are there specific types of yoga for trauma survivors?
Yeah, there are programs like trauma-sensitive yoga. They're designed to be extra safe and supportive, to help survivors reconnect with their bodies and feel more in control.
It's crazy to think that something as simple as stretching and breathing can help so much with mental and emotional stuff.
It really shows how connected the mind and body are, and how even small changes in our body can affect our mind and emotions.
This is already blowing my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. The spiritual side of yoga. Do we need to get into the chanting and chakras to get the benefits? That's something people always wonder about.
It's a good question. Yoga comes from ancient Indian philosophy, right? And it was a path to connecting mind, body, and spirit. But yoga today comes in so many different forms. Some are purely physical, some are more spiritual.
So like a whole spectrum.
Exactly. And the best part is all the benefits we've been talking about, the flexibility, stress reduction, better brain function. You don't need to believe in anything specific to experience those.
That's good to know. Because I know some people get a little intimidated by the spiritual stuff.
Yeah, you can totally enjoy the physical and mental benefits without adopting any particular spiritual beliefs.
But for those who are interested, it can be a whole other level, right?
For sure. For a lot of people, the spiritual side of yoga is what really helps them grow. It's a way to connect with something bigger.
Before I started researching yoga, I thought that stuff was a little too much for me. But now I see it differently. If you're open to it, it can add so much to your life.
I love that. And remember, it's your journey, right? You choose how much or how little you want to engage with that side of yoga. There's no right or wrong way.
So whether you're into the physical challenge, the mental clarity, or the spiritual stuff, there's something in yoga for everyone. It's a practice that can grow with you as you change.
Exactly. Yoga is a journey.
I'm really liking this deep dive. Okay, so does yoga actually work? Is it the miracle cure some people say it is?
Like most things in life, it's complicated. It's not some magic fix, but it offers a lot of benefits that science actually backs up.
So no levitating or walking through walls.
Not that we've seen in any studies, but really the evidence is clear. Yoga is way more than just stretching and mystical stuff.
Okay, good. Because I was starting to get a little worried about my yoga pants budget.
We'll keep those pants handy. What we've learned is that yoga is really powerful for your physical health, mental health, and even how your brain works.
Give us the highlights. What are the key takeaways?
Okay, number 1, yoga makes you stronger and more flexible, which is super important for staying mobile and avoiding injuries as you get older. And it's low impact, so anyone can do it.
Right, and we talk about that 35% increase in range of motion. Think about it. Reaching that top shelf without pulling a muscle, bending down to play with your kids without your back hurting, that's what better range of motion can do.
Exactly. Then there's the stress reduction. Yoga helps to regulate your nervous system. It calms that fight or flight response and helps you relax.
Which affects everything, our sleep, our immune system, our digestion. It's like hitting the reset button on your whole body.
Yeah. And let's not forget about the brain benefits.
Right.
It can literally change your brain structure, increasing the size of the areas for thinking, memory, and learning.
Your brain booster.
And the mindfulness part of yoga makes those benefits even better. It strengthens connections in your brain that help with, like, self-awareness, managing emotions, and feeling calmer.
It's amazing that something as simple as paying attention to your breath and moving your body can do all that.
It's the power of the mind-body connection. Small changes in your body can have a big impact on your mind and emotions.
So it's not some mystical thing, it's backed by science.
That's what's so cool about it. Yoga combines ancient wisdom with modern science.
And it's adaptable, too. Like we talked about, there's so many different styles of yoga, so you can find one that works for you.
Exactly. Whether you want a tough workout, a gentle stretch, or to explore the spiritual side of yoga, there's something for everyone.
And you don't need any special gear. You can do it anywhere.
You just need a mat and an open mind.
I'm ready to get my yoga on.
Me too. After all that talk about stress reduction, I could use a little yoga myself.
All right, so yoga isn't just for, like, hippies or fitness fanatics. It's for anyone who wants to feel better in their body and mind. And who knows, maybe you'll even touch your toes in the process.
Right. If yoga can change our brains and bodies so much, imagine what just one session can do.
That's a great question, and one I encourage all of you listening to explore. Find a class, try a YouTube video, or just take a few minutes to breathe and move. You might be surprised how much even a little bit of yoga can change your perspective.
Yeah, that's a perfect place to pause for now.
This deep dive has been amazing. I hope it's got you thinking about giving yoga a try, or maybe deepening your practice. Remember, yoga is a journey, not a destination.
We'll be back soon to explore even more about yoga.
Stay tuned. I'm still thinking about all that brain-boosting stuff we talked about.
Right.
Before we wrap up, I got to know more about those different types of yoga.
Yeah.
Like I've heard hatha, vinyasa,
Yeah.
even goat yoga.
Haha. Yeah.
What's up with all the different styles?
It's a whole world, really. Super diverse.
Okay.
There are some that are all about intensity, like Ashtanga or power yoga. If you want a real workout, those are good ones.
Oh, so those are for people who really want to push it.
Yeah. And then you have gentler styles like restorative yoga or yin yoga. Those are about slowing down, releasing tension.
Those sound more like my style.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just need to, like, chill, not get another workout.
Yeah.
So how do you figure out what style's right for you? Is it just trial and error?
It can be. It depends on what you want to get out of it, and your fitness level.
Yeah.
And any injuries you might have.
Right. Makes sense. You don't want to jump into a super hard class if you're a beginner.
Yeah.
It's funny. Before I understood yoga, I thought you had to be, like, super bendy.
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to twist yourself into a pretzel just to try it.
That's what a lot of people think. But it's not true at all. Yoga is for everyone. It's about where you're at and what you can do. Flexibility comes with time. It's not something you need to start with.
So, like, it's more about the journey than the destination.
Exactly. It's
Right.
about exploring your body and breath and mind and figuring out what feels right.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired. But before we move on, I have one more question.
Yeah.
We talked about the physical and mental benefits, but what about the spiritual side of yoga? We touched on it earlier, but I think it's worth digging a little deeper.
Definitely. It's really important to a lot of people who practice yoga.
Okay.
The spiritual side can involve things like meditation, chanting, exploring yogic philosophy, connecting to something bigger.
So it's more than just the poses for some people. It's about connecting to something deeper.
Yeah, for a lot of people, yoga is about self-discovery,
Yes.
spiritual growth.
Okay.
It can help you cultivate inner peace, compassion, even a sense of purpose.
Before I started researching yoga for this, I thought the spiritual stuff was, like, a little scary, like too out there. But now I see it differently. It's like, if you're open to it, it can add so much more to your life.
That's a great way to put it. It's important to remember you can choose how much or how little you want to engage with the spiritual side of yoga.
Right.
There's no right or wrong way. It's your own personal journey.
So it's really all about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
Whether it's the physical challenge, the mental benefits, or the spiritual stuff, yoga has something for everyone.
Exactly. Yoga can evolve with you.
I love that. This has been such a cool deep dive.
Yeah.
We've learned so much, the science behind it, the benefits, the different styles. I'm feeling inspired.
I'm glad. It's been great exploring this with you.
Before we go, I want to leave everyone with one last thought.
Okay.
We've learned that yoga can change our bodies and minds in incredible ways.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the science, you know? It's about the experience, feeling your body, quieting your mind, that feeling of peace.
That's what it's all about. Yoga is about discovering what's possible.
So if you're curious, if you're stressed, if you're looking for a way to feel better, try yoga. You might surprise yourself.
Absolutely.
We've talked about a lot with yoga, the benefits, the different styles, the spiritual side. But before we finish up, there's one thing I wanted to mention, something that I think might be a barrier for some people.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Accessibility. Like, yoga can seem kind of exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be super flexible and wear the right clothes.
Right.
And know all the lingo to fit in.
It's true. Yoga has sometimes seemed intimidating, like it's not for everyone, but really yoga is for everybody.
I love that. So how do we make it more inclusive?
I think recognizing that there's no one right way to do yoga is a good start. There are so many different styles, and what works for one person might not work for another.
It's all about finding what feels good for you.
Yeah. Honoring your body, your limitations, your goals, and letting go of any ideas about what yoga should be.
I think online yoga classes have really helped with that.
For sure.
People can practice at home without feeling self-conscious or pressured.
Totally. Online platforms have made yoga so much more accessible. You can find classes for all levels, all bodies, all interests.
And you don't need any fancy equipment.
Right.
Just a mat, comfy clothes, and an open mind.
And I think it's also important to highlight teachers who are making yoga more welcoming.
Yes. There are amazing teachers out there who are, like, changing the rules, creating spaces where everyone feels safe and respected.
Yeah.
They offer modifications. They use inclusive language.
Right.
They celebrate diversity.
It's so important because yoga is about connecting with yourself, finding peace, feeling good, and everyone deserves that.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Yoga has the power to heal and bring people together.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a few key takeaways.
Okay.
Yoga is not about the poses or being flexible.
Right.
It's about moving your body, connecting with your breath, finding peace.
And it's backed by science. We talked about how yoga reduces stress, improves health, even changes your brain, and it's adaptable. There's a style of yoga out there for everyone.
No matter your age, your body, your experience.
And you don't have to be a spiritual expert to benefit. Just come with an open mind and a willingness to try.
Exactly.
If you've been curious about yoga but hesitant, I hope this has helped you feel more comfortable.
I hope so too.
Remember, yoga is a journey.
Not a destination.
So roll out that mat, take a deep breath, and see what yoga can do for you.
Yeah, until next time. Stay curious. Keep exploring.
Namaste.